We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
All right, showtime. Joy in my house, joy in my house, joy. I got joy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. A reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
I'm joined here by my
We're tired, people.
co-host and author of Shaped by the Master's Hands, Lolita Robinson.
How are you doing today? We've got to hang in there. We've got to pull it up, pump
That's
it up.
right.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
You know, it's like the show goes on.
That's right. Time waits for nobody.
Well, listen, you have really been on the go. You've
Yes.
got kids, grandkids, a new relationship, and training for a fighter, and then driving to San Diego and dropping off the dog. So I got grace for you, honey. How do you do it?
Yeah, God's really graceful. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
He's always working in my life to where he opens the door just enough time for me to get this done, get that done. I had to take my younger daughter, Zaylee, to Ontario to drop her off at her grandma's.
Wow.
To come back home, to change, to get ready for the show. And now my girlfriend, she's on her way to the show here.
Okay.
And it's from pillar to post. Last night we were at the Pretty Girl Retreat.
Yes, what was that for?
event.
You were telling me that earlier. It's
It's an
red carpet.
event. They
Who's
actually
putting that
called it
on?
the pink carpet.
Okay.
It's two twin women that used to be ex-models
Okay.
that are really giving back. They stepped out in faith and have a ministry to empower young girls.
Now, is this from Ashley's ministry from
No,
Unlimited?
This
Now-
is a friend of mine from the Russian models that I was
okay.
working
So,
with.
and how did it go?
It was amazing. It was a great turnout at Paseo in Pasadena.
Okay.
They locked down the whole place, had a runway show with
That's
kids and
great.
adults, and had musical actors and performances. And it was just a great opportunity for us, for my daughters, my girlfriend's daughter Layla and my daughter, to at 10 years old, 9 years old,
To see
these young girls being empowered and to have a positive message.
And what are the proceeds going to, like to charities or?
It's to their foundation.
To
It's
their
a nonprofit.
foundation.
It's a nonprofit
Okay.
called Twin of a Kind because they're two twins.
Twin of a Kind. And what are they wanting to do?
Just empower young women.
To go the positive road and, you know,
Yes.
and makeup and hair and their talent.
And what's interesting is that they have a strong testimony. Not knowing that they were faith-based, I invited them to come on the show.
Oh,
so I
good.
have
Are
them
they
booked
going to
for the show.
come?
I
When are they
have
going to
them
come
booked.
on?
I knew you were going to ask me that the
Yes.
13th, so I wrote it down.
Not of September, I hope.
Not of September, the
Okay.
following week. The
Okay.
following month,
Okay.
September, October.
Oh, very good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So Jimmy was doing the.
Jimmy is my camera guy.
Yeah.
Yes, he always shows up and is
He
very
always
faithful.
shows up or whatever. Good.
But I wanted to ask you, how was your week?
It was good. I'm mentoring quite a few ladies. I'm either sponsoring or mentoring. Mentoring from church, sponsoring from program. And I get a lot out of it, and I'm preparing for 2 events that are coming up for me with our church. I get to, I'm going to be a speaker for the one-day retreat at the church. They're having like a staycation. And
You
then
were
I'm going to
mentioning
prepare
that.
for something in December. So
Perfect.
I'm busy. Then I'm taking care of my mom, but I'm really trying to keep time with God to rest and to stay before Him, because it can get crazy again, and I don't want that.
You get a little distracted.
Yeah,
and
you can get
sidetracked.
distracted. You can get caught up in life, and you have to have some downtime. You know, so you got to figure in. So when's your fighter going to fight?
We fight on the 29th, which is this Saturday coming up.
Just coming up.
This coming
Okay, all right.
Saturday.
Well,
I'm a little stressed out.
I bet.
It always gets difficult right before.
Okay, why? I mean, what happens?
I don't talk about my fighter.
Okay,
But
okay.
you know, things always come up. Fighters always fight with injuries, and there's always
Yeah.
ups and downs, and
Right.
and not just my fighter, but every fighter. So it gets a little overwhelming right before
That's
the
true.
fight.
That's true.
But once he steps into the cage, I've done the best that I can.
That's it.
And it's on him.
Wind that puppy up and let him go.
That's right. So if you're out there listening and viewing, I want to thank you for being a part of the joy that we have here on our house at the station's network, www.latalklive.com. Know that you can find us on Facebook /Joy in My House. We also have a Twitter account where you can tweet us with any questions or comments for our co-hosts, our guests, or any other questions you might have. We want you to engage with us. Be part of the
Right.
joy that we have here in our house. We also have an Instagram page that you can follow us on Instagram.com /Joy in My House.
Now, who's doing the Instagram pictures? You? Cause
I do.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
So right now I'm handling all the social media.
Okay.
It's a little, again, overwhelming, and sometimes I got to ask my younger daughter
You better
because she knows better than I do.
You better put her on the payroll. That's all I got to say. You better put her on the payroll.
On the board.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you for being a part of the joy that we have in our house, because, week after week,
yes,
even day after day, we have the opportunity to hear our guests come,
yes, we do,
and share with us.
What'd you think about our guest last week?
Last week we had an amazing show, Earthquake Kelly.
Ah, man, I was telling people about him. I told him go look at the archives. I mean, he had quite a testimony.
He really did, coming from voodoo.
Yeah.
And not just any voodoo, but an elite voodoo priest.
That's
that
right.
was mentoring
That's
him
right.
to take him, to have him do some
spells and things on people in
Yes.
Haiti, and just the near-death experiences that he had. He died twice, and losing a son. I think that's the premise of this show. I don't think we've had anybody on the show who has not had some trials and tribulations. Not one person. Can you think?
And there's not one person that I know of has not had trials and tribulations.
That's right.
We always ask our guests, when you speak on the show, that you're transparent.
Right.
And you always talk about credibility.
Right.
We all have challenges and struggles that we face, and God will see us through it. But if we keep that to ourselves and we don't share our struggles
to help
and our
other
challenges,
people, that's why we're here every week. So it's good to see Van too. How you doing, Van? Stay awake. I know we're all kind of like getting through. I'm looking forward to today.
We have a great show for you today.
Yep.
We have a returning guest by the name of Helen Woo. She is the author of Self-Aid Inspirations Turn Your Struggles into Success book.
There you go.
And she also developed a program, the Self-Aid program,
I can't
which
wait.
she's going to talk about.
Okay, and
So
she's
you
full of
guys-
energy, so she's going to kick it up a notch. I'm
yes,
glad.
She is. This is Joy in My House, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to come back with Helen Woo.
Yay.
You're not going to want to miss.
Hi, this is Araceli inviting you to join us every Sunday at 2 p.m. for Veterans Day Live. Join us as we provide info that will help all military personnel, so don't forget to tune in to Veterans Day Live every Sunday at 2 p.m., exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio, or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on latalklive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hey, this is Trisha Mann Grant, and I am inviting you to join us every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth. And join us as we talk to the Christians, just not any Christian, but all Christians of entertainment and all walks of life. Don't forget to tune in to Gospel Rhythms Heaven's Party here on Earth every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality show with a touch of recovery. I'm joined here by my co-host, Lolita Robinson.
How do you do? Let's get started.
And author of Shaped by the Master's Hands, and our in-studio guest, Helen Woo.
Yay.
Welcome back. To
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're glad that you wanted to come back, too.
I love it.
Author of Self-Aid. Self-Aid. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard her story, you're in for a treat today. Helen, we always like to talk about and let our audience and viewers know how we met. We met through your PR firm, which was CMR, and your rep was Jeff Donovan.
Jeff Donovan.
Are you still
Donovan.
with him? You still with
Oh,
him?
yes, they're wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, they've helped me do a little PR tour of my, basically my book tour.
Good.
Because Self-Aid, Inspirations to Turn Struggles into Success just came out this year. And Self-Aid Success Stories is in the works. So, yeah, they've been wonderful. They've been sending
Good
me
for
around
you.
and, I'm getting known. People are giving me positive feedback about the book, which is so important.
It's very good. I read it. I looked through it. I mean, it's just wonderful how you did it, but I want to stay on track because we'll talk about that.
We are going to get into the book, but we like to let our audience and viewers get to know you again. So we're going to talk about, your family of origin. Where did you grow up?
San Francisco, Chinatown. Do you remember that?
I
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
that. I remember quite a bit.
Yeah, born actually in a hospital called the Chinese Hospital.
Oh, wow. That's what they
Literally,
call
that's what it's
the
called.
Chinese hospital.
How funny.
I'm surprised they changed the Washington Redskins names. I'm surprised they didn't change the hospital. You know?
No. Actually, yeah, you'll see the really cute structure, the old Chinese building on
Okay.
Jackson Street, and then that's the building I was born in, but that's the administrative building
Oh,
now.
okay.
And the next building, very modern, that's where the new babies are born.
The new Chinese babies.
But it's still called the Chinese Hospital. Just two buildings back to back.
Wow.
But yes, I grew up kind of like in Little China in America. I grew up with a very traditional Chinese upbringing.
I remember
They
that.
brought China to us. They brought China, honestly, I did not feel like it was America until I went to school. Then I felt, whoa, this is cool.
I remember
You know?
you saying that you were the most open and vocal of your family, and your family was not too thrilled with because everyone else was kind of traditional. I do remember.
Well, we were taught.
Right.
And with a personality like mine, it was hard teaching.
Okay. All right.
Let's talk about how many brothers and sisters did you have?
One sister who was the pride and joy, the princess of the house, and the boy in a Chinese family, very important. My younger brother was the baby boy of the house, so he's the king of the house.
So
Okay,
that really is
So-
true. So the Chinese, the boy really still has a
Well, you know what? You can do no wrong if you're a boy because you carry the family name.
right.
That is like worth more than gold. You carry the family name. You keep the family going.
Okay.
The Wu family, is big because there's a lot of boys.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of boys.
That's right.
In our big greater generation, all my relatives in San Francisco, boys are important. It's just part of the culture.
Okay.
And guess what? I had a boy.
Yeah, you do.
There you
Yeah.
No, but I actually don't tell my son this. I actually wanted a girl because I wanted to do the brushing of the
makeup.
hair,
Oh.
the makeup, the
You
braids,
think he's
the
talking back
ponytails.
now? I can tell you about the girls who do it.
But honestly, when I had the boy, wow.
Yeah.
They love their mommy so much, and I'm not saying daughters don't. It's just that there is a
Yeah,
bond
no,
that is so
daughters-
great that I don't
yeah.
regret. I don't regret at all because I always said I want a girl. I want a girl. I don't regret having a boy at all. I love it.
Well, maybe there's a girl in the future.
No.
Ah!
I love self-aid, taking care of myself, and
There
I
you
say,
go.
"Mommy's done."
One's enough, huh?
One is great,
Oh, okay.
plenty, and I love what I do for a living, and I.
Hey, I ain't mad at you if you want to go there.
I'm quite content. Yes, I'm quite content.
Well, let's talk about that because you were raised in a Chinese American home. Were you a church-going family?
We went to church, honestly, mostly, sorry to say, because it was the least expensive private school.
Wow.
And because my mom did have a Catholic background in Taiwan. She was born in the Republic of China.
Okay.
And so they did have a Catholic background. So we went to a Catholic church, the most beautiful church in San Francisco, St. Peter and Paul. I grew up there.
Oh, wow.
I was there from kindergarten through 8th grade, 9 years.
Wow.
9 years of my life. You see kind of the same faces. I love them so much. We have reunions. I go back to San
So it's
Francisco.
still pretty traditional. Has it changed much?
Do you know what it was?
Or is it
The
more
school we went to?
progressive now?
I don't know if it's more progressive.
Okay.
But it was very Italian and Chinese.
Oh,
Because
my
that's
goodness, what a combo.
it's in the neighborhood of
Right.
the Italians, the North Beach, and North
Okay.
Beach is right next door to Chinatown.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So you have lots of Chinese and Italians. It was really kind of like half and half.
Okay.
And
all
so
right. Well, there's some
That's
cute
a lot of
Italian
culture.
men over there. So
yes, and kind of that's what made me kind of want to branch out because the Italians, what we call the white kids, right, are the cool kids. They're the athletic ones. They're the ones that get to speak out. The Chinese ones are the submissive ones, the quiet ones, the ones that are not allowed to talk, or if they are, they don't speak. Like I was scared to speak because I was taught not to.
right.
And so even though I wanted to, I just want to dance.
Is that
And
still going
I
on?
wanted
That's
to do.
what I mean now. Even with your family now, with this generation in 2015, is it still the same kind of culture?
Let's put it this way. No, I don't believe it is the same culture. I believe
Right.
that their mentality, they still think a little bit like that, but I have changed every rule and, I've
Right.
I've kind of crossed
Broken
every
the
line,
mold.
broken the mode and, I went, I had the first Caucasian boyfriend, the first divorce, there's so many things that occurred
Everything.
in my life that have changed their eyes. Now, all of the greater relatives, relatives outside of our immediate family, they've gone outside of their race.
Okay, there you go. Hey.
And
There you go. Break it
peop-
down.
And people speak out when they're in a bad situation, a bad marriage. They,
Yeah, they speak
they
out.
speak out because in Chinese, no matter how bad it is, even if you're getting abused, you have to stay in the marriage.
Oh wow.
You have to stay in whatever it is because you made that commitment. And I
Oh.
love God with a passion, and I believe in commitment. But I also believe that when it is very poisonous and not healthy for
Right.
you, you've got to walk away.
Good for you. So boy, I know you were in a lot of trouble.
Oh yes. Did I tell you I rebelled in high school? Oh God.
Wow. Well, he's gonna
Help
get
me.
us to
And that's
that,
what we're
you
gonna
know.
touch on. We're gonna touch about, especially that dynamic in your
Right.
in your family. You were such an outgoing personality, but you were confined with your family. They wanted to kind of hone you in. How was that?
Wow.
Growing up in high school and going through also becoming a teenager.
I was definitely wanting to be myself. And the only self that I found that was authentic was when I was outside of the immediate family, outside of my home. So I found myself, I was able to cheerlead, I was able to yell and play sports and be active and, all the things that my mom says a girl should not do.
Right.
I was forced to play the piano because my sister wanted it. I wanted to dance and I wanted kung fu.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I was forced to be the tame person that my mom wanted me to be. However, I wasn't that person, and so I kind of screwed up the piano on purpose. Sorry.
Right, right.
I wish
Well, what about
to
your
pieces
brother?
I didn't
was
do that.
he quiet, outgoing too?
No, he wasn't quiet. He was
Okay.
actually kind of the boy in the house that probably fought in school. Not probably, he did.
Right.
He got himself in some trouble. There might be some bruising and some cuts when he comes home. He gets punished because he's a boy, but it's kind of a slap on the wrist type of punishment.
Yeah, like what you
My
got.
mom, I love my mom. Okay, don't get me wrong when I say all this, but because I was the unwanted child, when I came out, I was supposed to be a boy, and they didn't have my brother yet.
They still have the two children. I thought it was one.
No, they have my
But
sister first.
But I thought in China was kind of like.
Oh no,
back
no,
the
they're in
day.
Republic of China.
Oh, Republic of China.
Taiwan.
Okay,
They're in Taiwan.
That's right.
They're in
that's what you
Taiwan,
said.
so you're
Okay.
allowed. Yeah, you're allowed to have kids there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Well,
so
why do you say you were unwanted?
because when my sister was born, they already had the girl. So their goal now at this point is we must have a boy. We must have a boy. And when I didn't have a wee-wee, my mom freaked out in the hospital.
She
Literally,
was disappointed.
my being raised by my mom. I look back right now. I have to justify this first before I go on.
Right.
She was 19 years old.
Well,
I was
I'm glad you're saying that.
Yes.
I'm glad you're saying that because she was also brought up in that culture. So
She was
having you-
19. She was young. Wow.
She was very young. So I forgive so openly now. I didn't forgive for many, many years because I was brought up being told you shouldn't have been born. Your sister's born in Taiwan and your brother's born in America and you were picked up in a garbage can.
Oh
I
my
mean, I was
gosh.
brought up with such verbally abusive words, which at the time I just thought, she doesn't love me. And
Right.
I'm looking for her approval every chance I get.
Right.
But the reason why I rebelled, back to the question, was because I tried so hard. I got A's and B's in school, never bring home a C. I really just 3.5, average,
Yeah.
and always really tried my best. I wanted to help her with the groceries, even if I was smaller. I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn cooking from her when she was in the kitchen. I did everything to want to be more like her and to
Be
get her
validated.
approval.
Yeah, you wanted to
And
be
she shut down everything I ever did. I mean, from the point of me remembering in my childhood begging for dancing and begging for kung fu every single day. I can remember it like really clearly, asking so often. My sister asked one day for piano. We were enrolled within a few days.
Oh, wow.
So that's the
Well,
difference.
what about your dad? What was your dad?
My dad was never home.
Oh, he was working.
He came into America so late in life because he's much older than my mom, and he didn't speak English. So what did he do? He has to do manual labor because the only jobs you can get in America with jobs that you don't have to speak English are manual labor. So he was a janitor for all the years of our lives. Still is. Still doing stuff so that my mom gets insurance because her health is not good.
Oh, wow.
So there are so many things in our lives where my dad did not see. I tried when my dad, when you hear that key opening on the keyhole, I run to the door. All I want to do is hug my dad because I was so sad at home. Because they were like, my sister and my mom ganged up on me often. And I don't blame either one of them today. Back then, I mean, for many, many years, I did this blaming thing. And that's why we'll talk about self-hate. I learned to let go. But for so many years, I'm scared. So scared to be at home. But I'm home. And there's no other choice. You have to be home. My brother's to himself because he's the boy. He's always to himself. He doesn't care what the ladies do. I always felt bullied. I've always felt ganged up on because my mom almost encouraged my sister and I to argue. And that's not nice. You know, and if we did argue or did fight, my mom would take my sister's side regarding of hearing the results, regarding of hearing what happened. Because she just says my sister can do no wrong. So it was a very hard injustice that I felt growing up.
Well, when did it? Well, that might be one of the questions you have.
That's.
When did it turn
I'm glad
around?
that you're saying that
Yeah.
because a lot of people out there that are listening and viewing could be going through the same situation, where maybe they were brought into this world not exactly at the time that.
Yeah,
the
somebody
parents
had planned
wanted.
for them, right?
Accidents happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? They become our pride and joy.
Yeah,
They
I
do.
I see it as a blessing. And Lolita always used to tell me, I remember when I got pregnant with Zaylee, that, you know, she's going to be a blessing. And it was because of her being born that I changed my life.
Yeah, she
So
was. She was the
she was a
defining
catalyst.
factor. Yeah.
I didn't want her to see me acting out and being this awful person that I was. And if it wasn't for her being born, I might have never changed.
That's
So
true.
it's interesting that you're saying this because now God was preparing you, having you go through these challenges, these struggles for your book. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But you were struggling with mental and physical abuse. You had grief. There was substance abuse as you started getting older.
Rebellious phase.
Trying to mask the pain and the hurt. But then we're going to talk about betrayal and depression as you got a little older. Let's talk about after high school. Now, after high school, where do you go to school? What happens?
Did things change even at home with your mother and sister? Or?
I became very close to my grandmother. At 18 years of age, I was living outside of home. I visited my grandmother a lot. Someone who is very much, we were taught to dislike because it was my mother's mother-in-law.
Oh,
It was not my mother's mother. So we were taught that she was the witch, she was this, she was that, she was a complainer. Oh my goodness, when I found out for myself when I was 18, how wonderful this lady was, how loving her heart was. She and I were best friends. I loved her, still love her. She's up in heaven now, but she was my best friend and she was on my side.
Right.
There was unconditional love. I felt unconditional love for the first time.
Wow.
And it felt so powerful because I felt conditional love at home.
Right.
I have to do this to
In
be
order to
loved.
be loved.
I have to do this to be right and to be approved, to get that approval. I had to be a certain way and it was never myself. My grandmother knew that, hello, I'm the first Chinese gal in the whole family to bring home a white husband who's still one of my best friends today. But this is many years ago. I was 20 something, really young when I married, and we were best friends, but we were more best friends than meant to be soulmates romantically. So she was approving of that, even though I thought she would be the hardest because she's the oldest in the generation.
Right.
Wow.
But there's just an unconditional love from this woman, and my mom did not like the relationship that I had with her. So there was a lot of things growing up. After high school, I had the greatest relationship with my grandmother. I realized what family was. Slowly but surely, I cared enough to want to be a better person because I rebelled in high school, mid-high school. I really rebelled. That's when I took the drugs and hung out with the motorcycle gang and, did what I could to be almost that character that I didn't know I was going to be, but I wanted to rebel to get back at her.
Right.
Instead, I'm doing some damage to myself, and I see that, of course, today.
It's that resentment, right? You
Right.
created the resentment
Yes.
and then acted out on the resentment.
I only did that for maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years max, and I really got it together and said, "Oh my goodness, I need a future," because I've ruined all the chances for a good college at that point.
Right.
You know, but after high school, going into my young adult life, I got to be myself, but I made a lot of mistakes because that's what we do in our youth.
Right.
We make mistakes. I had a good heart, but I made mistakes because
You
I
had a lot
wasn't
of pain.
healed. I wasn't
Yeah.
healed.
You had a lot of pain and stuff.
You got to go through a lot to get
Abandonment,
healed,
yeah.
really. You work on yourself and you have to care enough to want to help yourself. And I finally care.
Well, when did the relationship change between your mother and you're giving your mother and sister grace? Are you close to your sister today, or?
Well, I
change?
would say is as close as we can get. She's wonderful to my son. Our family has never been one where it's a lot of emotions, meaning a lot of hugging, a lot
So
of
they never said
kissing,
they were sorry
taps.
for all the stuff
Oh
they
no,
put
I
you
don't
through?
expect an apology. I don't
Yeah.
even think if someone doesn't feel they've done wrong,
They're not gonna.
they're not going to say sorry, right? So
Sure.
for me, it's about their actions. Actions can speak louder than words. You don't have to say sorry. If you're actually caring for me and my child today, that's a sorry to me. That's saying, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. Let's just be the best we can to each other today. And I care about that more.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad
Great
it's
answer.
working out that way.
Because Lolita always talks about God putting people in our lives to develop us for our purpose. And that's what God was doing with your grandmother.
Yeah.
Put her in your life to give you that heart, to give you that unconditional love, so then you can in turn forgive your sister, forgive your mother, and like you said, shelve it, even though they didn't know any better, but you were able to heal from it because of the love that your grandmother was giving you, which Lolita always talks about, having God put somebody in your life for that. So it seems like she was a very positive role model for you.
She was very, and I'm apologetic too. I want to apologize to my mom, to my sister, to my dad, to any human being that I've hurt, because throughout my rebellious phase, I hurt others.
Right.
So I am sorry. Just as much as I forgive others, I am genuinely sorry for the things I've done wrong. I've done so many things to hurt myself and others, not intentionally, but I've done
Right.
it.
Well, that's what
you know,
happens,
and
yeah.
I'm very sorry. And if they've never heard it, I want them to know because I'm that expressive person. But they kind of are the quiet, silent, let bygones be bygones type of attitude versus, you know,
But
any.
are they different towards you today?
My mom treats my son really wonderfully,
Okay, okay.
and that's important to me. And
That's
that's
what you're saying,
That's the only
okay.
thing I need.
All
That's
right.
because I know how to treat myself right.
Right.
If someone dislikes me, if someone doesn't treat me right, it's okay. I treat myself right. So
Well, I'm
I think
glad
that's
for your
important.
son.
And I wanted to talk about that. It's a great segue because I wanted to talk about what helped you get through your struggles and what did you have to change to
That's a
help
good
yourself.
question. Yeah.
Wow, many things, and that's why we get into the self-aid tools because a lot of that. The self-aid tool is all part of the many years of progress for me. One, you have to start with helping your self-esteem. I had, your self-esteem is taken away when you're constantly constantly told that you're the ugly duckling. I was introduced to my mom's friends and to anyone that we met that were new friends. This is my beautiful daughter. This is the other one. I'm the other one. And so it's the same thing as saying this is the ugly one.
Right.
And so the other one survived. And no matter how sensitive I am, and I am, people see the strong version of me because my exterior has to be this tough character to fight the world because I always thought I was alone. I always thought I had to conquer the world alone. I had to do
you
it.
were.
So I have to toughen up. You see a thicker, skin on me, but I am such a softie. So my son knows this and my best friends know this
Right.
because I am a sensitive person. I really am. I just through the years had to create something to say to others that you can't mess with me because I'm tough. But that's okay to have that shell. It's not strength is beautiful,
Right.
but sensitivity is beautiful. So to have a little balance is great. I'm fine with it.
That's really good. I know you're going to go into telling us how self-aid was.
Well, the self-esteem is important. I was
Right,
trying to tell
okay.
you. And love and laughter, bringing laughter into your life because I laughed so much outside of the immediate family and didn't laugh a lot at home. And I realized, wow, people love laughing with me. They like to hear my jokes. I don't have like one-liners, but I'm kind of witty. At least I think I was.
You're
And I
very
made
bright and very uplifting and very bubbly.
and
you know.
I I heard that from my Caucasian friends, the ones who spoke out in school. They would
that's
say
the Italians,
they
right?
would, yeah, Italians. They would say, Helen, we love your personality. You are so cool. Keep real. Keep being real. They would say keep it real. And I'm like, what does that mean? They say, you're so real. You're so real. Keep being real. I couldn't figure out what that meant because I wasn't sure what the real me was really because I was forced to be a certain way.
Right.
But then I loved laughing and I loved the expression that I was able to have when I was outside of the family.
Right.
My friends loved it. I started realizing, why do strangers and friends like me more than my family?
Right.
So, but that was the real me shining.
Because you were being real.
Yes.
That personality was.
Yeah.
That was the one that
being
was no
seen.
struggle. I had no struggle being me, but I had struggle being the closed-minded, closed up, no emotions type of girl at home. That was the hard part.
Right.
You know,
Right.
when I hear music, I want to do this. When at home, you can't. You know, I mean, it was just trying to be myself fully was not possible at home.
Yeah, but obviously you broke through.
Yeah, you broke the mold,
Yeah.
like you said. And I wanted to ask you, what would you tell somebody out there who's listening and viewing that maybe is going through the same things that you went through as a youth? What would you say to them? Because we have a lot of youth. The show is internet based, so we do get a lot of younger viewers. What would you say to somebody who may be going through the same thing?
Well, one of the first things is faith. I really, really have faith. And once upon a time, I used to say, what can faith do for you? But I believe in faith so much because once you have faith for the big guy upstairs, you have faith for yourself. And when you have faith for yourself, you can conquer anything. Honestly, that is so powerful to me. That has kept me alive. That has kept me, we'll talk about this part later too, when my best friend took everything from me. I mean, that has kept me alive.
Well, who introduced you to the faith? You said your family
I
was going
found
to church.
it.
Did you find it on your own?
You know,
At
through the
church?
many years of my life, I found it, I lost it. I found it, I lost it. Because I lost faith when my grandmother died.
Oh, I
because she
bet.
died in San Francisco, and I was 7 days a week with her at the nursing home in San Francisco. But when I visited LA every now and then, I was God, why would you let her go without me? Why would you let her go when I'm in LA? Because I'm the only relative, the only granddaughter, the only love of her life that will be there for her all the time and hang out with her, listen to her stories. She just wanted company.
Right.
The rest of the family dropped off food and left. I mean, she doesn't want that. She could care less
So
about
that
the
was
food.
hard when she died.
She wants conversation. It was hard. I lost faith for a bit. I denounced God. Sorry. I denounced him for a while. I mean, it was painful. It was painful because and I love her and she's in heaven and that's all that matters.
Right.
I know now. I mean, I went through such a struggle of my favorite person in the world leaving me.
Yes.
And, you know, she was my
Was she
support
faith-based?
system.
Did she pray too? Was she faith-based?
I don't know if she was faith-based because there was never a spoken word of it.
Okay.
However, the way she treated me, I would believe she was.
Okay.
You know,
Ah.
and
You know it.
and that's what matters to me.
But you walked away from the Lord. I can understand that.
Oh, I walked away.
You felt like but you know, sometimes they say that I've had experiences with people dying. A lot of times they'll wait till the person is gone because they don't want to do it while you're there. So she might have done that as a way so it wasn't as
Yes.
painful for you. But at the time, I'm sure you weren't able to embrace that.
Oh, I couldn't. But I have to tell you right now, when she died, that was my beginning of really genuinely finding faith. Because even
Good.
though I denounced God, that was my struggle to find faith. It was.
Okay.
It's. I don't know how to explain that because.
You did well.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
That
Because
makes sense.
I
Did you find a
literally
church?
lost faith.
Did you find a church?
No, I found a
Believers?
healing process. Reading. I did go to church, but only once in a while. It wasn't. I think what did I do? I went through depression. I went through a serious depression. To find yourself in a deep, dark depression, Ellen DeGeneres picked me back up.
I remember you.
remember
Yes,
that.
do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, this is a story I can't help but tell because it's the truth. It is the first part of my progress to feeling happy again. And in finding happiness and laughter in your life, you find all the other stuff.
That's right. You have to remind us about that. You were watching Ellen every day in your depression, right?
Oh, this depression was so dark. I literally could not keep my face dry. Tears, as long as I'm awake, tears would just keep streaming down. Can't even control it. I was literally ready to check myself in somewhere because I knew something was wrong with me.
Just couldn't. Yeah, the grief was so bad.
It was bad. It was
Right.
bad. I saw a commercial of a stick figure with a cloud over his head. It was like an antidepressant commercial.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I said, "That's me. That's me. Like, that's me."
I'm not laughing because that's true.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
you
I
know.
could laugh now. I couldn't laugh then.
Right.
I said, that's me. Because it says, do you ever go here, go there, and you just realize there's a dark cloud above you, and it's always above you, and nothing you do can ever resolve anything, and you always feel down, and there's just like so many things to that comment, and that little stick figure walking with the cloud over his head. I said, that is me. I am depressed. I literally picked up, well, I was watching TV, but it was not even, I don't know if I was paying attention to TV. Honestly, I was in a zombie mode. It was just such a depression mode where you can't think happy thoughts, you can't think right, you can't think straight. You were, I don't know, I can't even explain the feeling. It was so dark. I felt darkness all the time. And when I saw that 1 hour of Ellen, I started laughing throughout the show and saying I felt laughter. But then it's only that 1 hour. And so I had to figure out a way to keep it in the rest of my day. That was the progress. Looking for inspiration. So inspirations and affirmations are so important to me today.
And let's talk about that, because you also had another challenge where your best friend that you were working with, and we're just going to touch on this for a minute before we go into some of your accolades, but something happened with your best friend and you got betrayed. Let's touch on that.
That's the latest. And that was the latest.
Where did you know the friend from school?
No, we met as adults. This is the latest thing, because this has happened within the last 10 years of my life, and that was really the downfall to my financial, devastation. I lost everything I've ever had, went to a negative, filed for bankruptcy, foreclosed my homes. I mean, literally, she put me in the worst predicament I've ever seen myself or ever imagine. Your worst nightmare you can't imagine.
How did she do that? Because to warn somebody out there, like Joel was saying, how has somebody come in and literally rip you off blind?
She was my best of the best friends. When you view someone as a best friend, you don't think twice. You do not think twice of someone ever going to hurt you, betray you, take anything from you. We were going to conquer the world together. We were going to make money together. We were going to enjoy making businesses together, create a bunch of businesses. We were going to do so many things that we wanted, just the two of us, to just really conquer the world. It was just our saying. We were going to conquer the world together. And little did I know that she worked me. I'm not going to become unhopeful just because someone betrayed me, but it was a big devastation, because not only did she break my heart in a million pieces, I mean, my heart was broken so badly. It took me weeks to really, really recover and wake up and say, Helen, let it go, because now you have to focus on recovering from the financial devastation she just put you in. So I now can't afford to pay my mortgages. I now can't afford anything. I was living it, I don't want to say high, but I lived it much higher cost of living back then, because I had more money and I had more, material things.
Did she get you to invest?
Yes, we were investing together, and we had accounts together. So nothing's really on paper, you see? So nothing's on paper to say that she stole, because we had things together. It was very, for me, all I can explain right now is that, I don't know how else to explain. The fact is, I was betrayed. The devastation was because I had gone through so much devastation before and overcoming challenges already, that I knew the steps to take for this one. No matter how devastated I was, I said, I'm not going to let this be the end of my world. My son was an infant child. I was left in the cold pretty much. I had a handful of friends, which I thought I had hundreds of friends, but I had a handful of friends that stuck around, helped me out, and I learned something new. I learned how to receive.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow, I did not know how to do that before.
You know what? I'm in that boat right now. Yeah, God will send you through that period where you have to receive, or because it's a humbling. It's letting love in,
And it's not selfishness. I thought that before, if you take things from others or have things from others, that was selfishness. But I had to learn. I was humbled. I had to learn that receiving is part of life. It's part of the giving and receiving. Yes, it is. And I learned so much from this. She also made me find my life purpose, by the way. Right. So I can't complain too much. I mean, yes, I'm still always recovering, trying to recover to get back above water financially. She has put me in the biggest hole I've ever been in my life.
Well, will there be an end to it? I mean, is it something?
Oh, definitely. I found my life purpose. That's the most important.
Right. But I mean, from the financials, you're cleared away. She's no longer entangled with you.
She's not entangled. Oh, she disappeared. At one point, she was giving a certain chunk of thousands of dollars to me in 1 month, and then she stopped the thousands and went into the hundreds for 1 month, and I freaked out because I've never been able to live that low. And because she said that she was paying back stuff that taking out whatnot. Right. It wasn't happening. Then 1 month it turned to zero. I completely freaked out.
Wow.
Well, I wanted to touch on this because God, like you said, it helped you find your life purpose.
Yeah, a lot
God
of
was
things.
preparing you even through your challenges. If you're out there listening and viewing, even through your life's challenges and your struggles, it's God is going to use that for His glory, and He has with you. Before I get to the book, you started hosting a weekly radio show called Self-Aid Success Stories. You've written your first book, Self-Aid Inspirations to Turn Your Struggles into Successes. And now you're even working on your second book.
Yes.
Yeah, what's that one called?
That one is called Self-Aid Success Stories, the same name as my radio show, which is the radio show is now on hold for a bit. I said it was going to be just for a little time, but I have so many things I'm working on. I'm not sure when I'm going to get back to the radio. But I love everything. I love everything on Self-Aid. So,
well, what's the difference between the one you're doing you said this one's about tell me again this next book you're writing.
Okay, the Self-Aid Inspirations to Turn Struggles into Success, the book I've just written, right? This one is about affirmations, inspirations, things to pick you up, you know, uplift your spirits and make you remind you that we can all overcome our struggles. Listen, all the stuff I've gone through, we can, okay? If I could do it, I know you can.
Okay.
And so the second one's more story-based.
Oh, okay, about your own life or other
My
people's
life
lives,
and others who have suffered a lot.
Okay, yeah, because this one has a lot of different sayings and wonderful things. I have a copy at home, so this one's going to be more of the story.
Yes, you know, for the first book, the Self-Aid Inspirations to Turn Struggles into Success, if you really read it hard enough, you will see the little inspirations really have a story in it. You hear my story. You hear how much, you know, the suffering went, but how much I also say, keep your head up high, we can overcome it.
Right. That's important. That's very important.
It is. Yeah. You know, I still use it. I have to still use it.
Tell me about it.
Well, let's do this. Let's go to a quick commercial break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about the book Self-Aid, Inspirations to Turn Your Struggles into Successes with Helen Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to want to miss. This is Joy in My House. I want you to stay tuned. We're going to come right back.
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality show with a touch of recovery, a reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who shares.
I'm joined here by my co-host, Lolita Robinson, and
I'm
author
really
of Shaped by the Master's Hand.
Glad to be
and
here.
Our in-studio guest, Helen Woo. She is the author of Self-Aid, Inspirations to Turn Your Struggles into Success.
Thank you for having me. I'm always, I love being with the two of you.
It's encouraging to watch you because, you know, you really are. You could have been very bitter.
I was for a while.
Cynical.
I was for a while.
Well, okay, so that's good. So you're talking about a process here. So you're not talking about just one day you just decided to watch Ellen and start laughing and that was it.
Well, I want people to know, I mean, we all go through our bitter phases. We all go through our resentment phases. We all go through hatred, anger, all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's normal. So I don't say you're a bad person because you go through it. I do say that we can recover from it and we can be happy from it.
Right.
We could definitely be happy from that. We can take that and throw it away.
Well, see, people will. I can't sit with people who just act like they went through hell and they just came out of it, you know.
Right. Overnight.
Right.
No.
We don't
especially
like
for somebody like myself in a recovery process.
Right.
And Lolita always reminds me it's a process. It's not something that we arrive at. It's something that God is constantly changing in our lives.
Right.
We're constantly growing, constantly learning. I always say I'm a student first. You know, even
I
though
am
I'm a master, we got to be a student first. We got to learn first.
Always.
And people will want to hear from you because you have been bitter. You can tell them, I know how you feel and I understand, and you can give them grace for that, but then you also throw them a lifeline and tell them that there's a way out.
There's the light at the end of the tunnel. There really is.
Right.
There really is. And when you find it, wow, you are going to go on to life with a more positive note.
Well, I like that. And you said that because of this tragedy, you found your purpose. So I want to hear more.
And your purpose.
Yes.
You're an author. You're a speaker. You're a motivational. You're inspirational. Let's talk about why did you write Self-Aid?
Well, first and foremost, I wrote it for therapy.
Okay.
I wrote it because these were the things that made me feel better.
Good.
I had them in writing. I had so many. I mean, thank goodness I finally edited because it was like 500 pages long. So a lot of beautiful inspirations were not in this book, but these are still some powerful words that affect me.
A devotion book can follow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many. First of
Right.
all, self-aid, this is just the beginning. There are so many self-aid books coming. They're all the self-aid theme. They're all about helping
I love that
myself.
self-aid.
We have to start by acknowledging. That is
Right.
the first step. We have to acknowledge we have room to grow. If we don't acknowledge, like I was in that little hole at one point in my life, I'm still bitter and still angry with everything, blaming everyone and everything for my misery. Well, you know what? We can have a say and we can change the way we feel.
That's right.
But we got to say that we can progress. I had to say I can be in a better place to be
Right.
in a better
And I
place.
choose to be.
Yeah.
Make the choice.
Well, I want to talk about your wooisms.
Yes.
And that is part of the book.
Yeah, who is-
Helen Woo, obviously you're the author, but you have these sayings, these quotes called wooisms. Why don't you tell us what a wooism is?
First and foremost, it's a play on my name,
love
WOO. So wooism is by me reading and feeling these thoughts and inspirations from these beautiful people, these philosophers, and these great minds from the world, past and alive, right? Past and present, excuse me. I view their words as inspirational, and I take their words. I do something either by action or by thought or by my own take on it.
Right.
These words now become my wisdoms because now I affirm myself all the time with these words. This is what I'm going to do. This is one of my affirmations are so important because if we affirm to ourselves daily, we start believing in it. If we keep believing in it, we live it.
Now,
So it is so
somebody's gonna ask
powerful.
you, what's an affirmation? If someone's out there looking, what do you mean by
Oh, an affirmation is anything from saying, I am strong enough. I will get over this. You know, an affirmation can be the simplest line as, I can do it. You know, an affirmation is telling myself it's going to happen. I am going to succeed, or I am going to get through this tough moment. I mean, there are I'm giving the simplest ones, of course, but there are so many different affirmations in this world that you can create for yourself.
Right.
And all I'm doing here is trying to uplift someone's spirit, trying to remind someone out there that they can overcome it too. Because
Right.
if I can, you can. I know it. Because honestly, I struggled with so many tears in my life. I mean, and the other side is so much brighter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. Let's take a quote from the book.
Okay.
Find a quote
Oh,
that
by the
you-
way, I chapter it out as my acronym for self-aid. So that's pretty important.
Let's talk about the acronym.
Yes, okay. That's where you see or feel the story because these are the things that helped me throughout my last 20-something plus years of my life. And the last few years, really powerful because I've got the book, I've got the self-aid program, I've got the way people view me and use the self-aid tool. S stands for self-help. The very obvious, the title, self-aid, helping myself every day, recognizing I can be better.
Right.
So I'm going to try now. That's the first part. You have to realize that I can be better than
can
I
be
was
better.
yesterday.
So that's
Yes.
the S.
The E stands for esteem, and I always say esteem for myself, but for others too.
Right.
Instead of being jealous and envious of others, admire them and look at them and say, I can learn from them because they're so great at what they
That's
do.
true.
That's
That's a
right.
good
And then I can be
point.
better. I can be better
Yeah,
because I learn from
nobody,
them.
Nobody can. I can't do what you do, even though I'm an author.
We're all
As
different.
you are, we're all different. This is not, God hasn't put that on my heart, but I can learn from you and be excited for you. So I like that.
Well, in life, I think a lot of people think it's competition, but they don't realize that my competitor who goes out and does positive affirmations and gives inspiration to others, they still do it in their own unique way.
That's what
That's
I'm
right.
saying.
We're all unique.
We are.
We
Nobody
should help
can-
each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
We can't. It doesn't take away from people. We need to
That's
realize
right.
that.
No, I agree
Even
with
though
that.
we have a lot of radio shows on LA Talk Live, we are all different.
Ex-
We're, you know,
You've got your uniques and your
Right.
beautiful individuality.
we all are.
That's
we
right.
all are. So I like that.
So,
So
so
the
that's
L.
E and esteem. L are the two things you don't walk out of the house without: love and laughter.
Oh,
You have to have that.
you are so.
So you can't leave home without it.
Oh,
And love doesn't have to mean romantic love only. It means love for life, love for yourself, love for
your
what you're
friends,
doing
yeah.
today, love for tennis. My tennis, I love tennis.
Oh, you
Just
do?
when you put yeah, I love
Good.
tennis.
Okay.
That's my passion.
You look so good.
That's
wonder
my
I can get
passion.
My butt out there and do some tennis.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, at one point I didn't find it again after having my son, and you get a little stuck because no matter how much how beautiful motherhood and your career is,
Thank
you still
you.
got to find something for you. For me,
That's
and tennis
right.
was it.
Okay.
So love and laughter, very important. You know about laughter. We have to laugh. Come
Right,
on.
we do.
And it's
Yes,
healthy.
It is.
Yes.
healthy.
Keeps us living longer.
That
It
is
does
true. The
everything.
Bible says it's medicine to the soul.
It is medicine. It is
Yeah.
true. Whoever said that. It always says unknown artist. Every time you look up the quote, laughter is
Well, that's in Proverbs.
medicine. Sorry?
That's
Oh,
in
it's a proverb.
It's-
Okay.
Yes, in Proverbs. It's in the Bible.
Beautiful. It's true. It's my medicine. It is my medicine. So, okay, F is the hardest thing
Okay.
to overcome. It is freedom, what I just talked about. How do we let go of anger, resentment, blame, and how do we forgive? You know, these are such important things that we have to take care of before we could really move on and succeed.
So that's when you find your freedom, you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Freedom. It's all.
When you're letting
yes,
go
when we
of the
live
blame,
freedom,
yeah.
we got to let go. We have to
Right.
let go. I have let go of every single, and we're always going to feel the pain because we lived it. Like I can talk about my childhood and there may
Right.
still be a teardrop because I feel the memory of it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean I have to live in pain.
That's right. You don't. Have
You
to
know,
live
I don't
in
have to
the
live in
moment.
pain. I can overcome it.
Right.
And so freedom is the most, I think, difficult, but it is the most worth it once
Well,
we
it's
get to
empowering.
freedom. Once we feel that freedom, wow, we can move on and be happy in everything we do.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
A stands for what we're talking about, attitude. Keeping a positive attitude.
Got that?
There you go.
Yeah, and that's very important. Keeping a positive attitude. Now I know how to train my thoughts, train my mind when I feel a negative thought, like I'm not happy and
Right.
waking up. Oh, it's not a good day. You know, I could see those and feel those thoughts now, and
Right.
you have to throw them away. You have to replace them with a
So now
happier
you're not
thought.
Saying, now you're not saying being happy 24 hours a day.
No,
now,
I'm
right?
human.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
be
that's
cranky.
good.
I got a 6.5-year-old boy that's driving me nuts. Come on. He's wild.
But I think it's so great that you're
Yeah.
talking about having that positive
Have a
attitude. Because
positive
a lot of us,
attitude,
what do?
right.
We dwell on the negative, and we want to stay in the negative, and it just makes us even more unhappy.
Yeah.
I was there, so I know.
Right, right.
And I tell you,
So
the difference
how do
is
you have
huge.
the balance? How do you have the balance for somebody? You're not saying you're not to be happy 24 hours a day because that's not possible. So how do you balance when you do have a bad day?
Well, that's the thing.
What do you do to
well,
kind of
I just
ground yourself?
well, it's grounding myself is habitually switching your thoughts. Now
Okay.
I know how to.
Okay.
But see, once upon a time, when you have a bad thought, you escalate it, and you have a horrible day
Yeah.
the entire day.
That's
yeah,
right.
you dwell on it,
Yeah.
and it can be something as simple as somebody cutting you off.
That
Yes!
is so true. That is so
Oh,
true.
I've had those days too.
Yeah.
So because
Yeah.
I'm kind of an aggressive driver. So
Oh, okay. So, so you're the one I need to give an attitude about. 'Cause
There you go. A for attitude.
Yeah.
But let's go on I.
I is something I find to be the most attractive trait in any human being, and
Okay.
including myself, my brothers, my sisters, my business associates, my friends, who I want to be around, is integrity.
All right.
That's where I find that anyone finds their authentic self. Not just pleasing others now. Once upon a time, I'll just say the right thing to
Yeah.
please
Do the
this
right thing,
person because that will make this person like you better.
Right.
Right.
And there is nothing like that. If you don't like me today, that's your own problem because I like myself
Right.
and I'm a good person and I come from a place really of goodness and I really, really, I believe in the golden rule. That's what integrity is for me. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you and be completely authentic to yourself. And that's who I am. I'm so transparent today. Before I would hide it because I'm
Right.
too scared to be myself.
Right.
You know, and I'm myself now. Take it or leave it.
There you go. Now we're on the D.
And D is the final. This is how I found my life purpose. Now I don't have to say to myself, I have a dream. I hope my dream comes true. Because I am living my dream now. I found my life purpose.
Okay.
And I found it due to financial devastation.
Well, okay. I'm sure he's going to ask you, how did you do that?
Well, I realized that with all my trials and tribulations, with all my challenges, I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to tell people that it's okay, you can overcome it.
Right.
I want to be the reminder for others that no matter how bad you have it, I was physically abused pretty badly. I was mental is kind of the worst. Mental abuse takes away your
It takes a long
self-esteem,
time. Yeah, it does.
takes away so much of your who you actually could have been
Right.
at the earlier stages of your life. I just learned basically that there is so much involved with living my authentic self, that living my dream today, having my passion, having my life purpose, she can't affect me.
Right.
She hurt me so badly. I say she, I'm talking about, at this point, I'm talking about my best friend
Right.
who took everything from me
Okay.
because she hurt me mentally, emotionally, and financially. So that was probably one of the biggest rock bottoms I've hit. I've hit many.
So when you said, okay, you found your dream in that, so you started writing these experiences down?
Yes. I started
Okay.
saying that if
good.
I can overcome it, someone out there who's gone through it can too.
Right.
You know, and my message is to remind every single person that they can too. I
Right.
mean, it's so important to me now.
And that is a perfect
I do love
segue
that.
because now you developed a self-aid before we close program.
Yes.
And now you're teaching the applications, the tools on on what you did to hopefully help and inspire somebody else to get through their challenges and struggles. Let's just touch on that before we
Yes.
go.
Okay.
Your self-aid program.
Okay, it was the acronym that I mentioned, but you know, and there's a bonus chapter, so it's a bonus tool that I also add is gratitude.
Right.
Always giving thanks. I mean, honestly, I don't remember giving thanks way back when.
Right.
It was about me. Today, it's about giving thanks for being alive, giving thanks for the little things I have, giving thanks for my family, my friends, giving thanks for everything that makes me a better person every day. I mean, giving thanks is so important. How do we forget that?
Right?
I think, did we
need
forget
to
that?
be way more grateful than we are.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, the self-aid program are the self-aid acronym. I just showed you the words for the self-aid, esteem, love and laughter, freedom. That one, obviously, we work on. This program, basically, all the tools help us become a better person, help us overcome self-esteem issues, help us and self-esteem comes from so many different things, from being abused, being treated
low
wrongly.
self-esteem,
Yes.
yeah.
Low self-esteem. So
Right.
self-esteem problems, the
Right.
issues come from so many areas of our lives. I just basically help people to conquer.
So what do you put on,
These-
like events?
Workshops?
like
No, I do
workshops?
one-on-ones.
Yeah.
I do one-on-ones, and I definitely do speaking events for anyone, individual companies, corporations that want me to come in to inspire them to do a better job in their work.
for you.
Yes, so
Good
I'm
for
out there.
you.
I'm out there. You
And
know.
like you said, you're living your
Congratulations.
purpose. God
Your
has
dream, yeah.
done so much in your life, even through the challenges and struggles, to give you this life purpose.
I'm so grateful.
I'm really
I'm
glad.
so grateful.
really
I
glad.
found, you know, the thing is, when you find your life purpose, you really do feel happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we go through our days, like I mentioned to you earlier. Hello, I'm human. Well, you know, I need a cup of
Yeah.
coffee sometimes before I start the day because whatever issues are, you know.
And your lovely son who's keeping you on your toes.
Aiden.
My son.
Those are just new opportunities to grow. That's what me and my
Exactly.
me and my sister-in-law used to say that when we were going through problems with our husbands. She says, "OTG, opportunity to grow."
Okay, I'm going to start saying that. OTT.
Well, I want you to give our audience and viewers a plug and let them know where can they find out more
Yes.
information regarding your
Yeah.
book, Self-Aid. Where can they purchase the book?
Well, first of all, Self-Aid, Inspirations to Turn Struggles into Success is on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. And there's a special going on until, I think, the first week of September. If you purchase one from Amazon or Barnes & Noble, give me the receipt or the shipping confirmation, and I will give you a free signed copy, second copy.
Oh, that's
Yes,
beautiful.
you just have to find me through Facebook, The Helen Woo, and also my website, thehelenwoo.com. You can actually purchase a book there or just PM me, because I am so genuinely personable. I want people to just talk to me, not just friend request me. You have to give me a message so I know who
Right.
you are.
I-
Because I've
thank
had
you.
I've had some strangers, and
yeah.
I accepted a couple by accident without
And
a
you're
message.
sorry.
And yeah, it's all about, how are you? You're beautiful.
Right.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
Right.
Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. I appreciate it, but you don't know me yet. Tell me
Exactly.
about you.
Right, right.
I want to
that's how
hear.
they can contact you.
Yes, I want to hear about you. So The Helen Woo on the Facebook and thehelenwoo.com, or same thing, self-aid with helenwoo.com. My name is spelled WOO.
W.
Like it sounds. Woo.
Yes.
Well, the show is coming to a close. We like to ask this, and we've asked you once before, but we would love to hear, in today's day and age and where you are now in life, living your life purpose, what does joy in my house mean to you?
Well, joy in my house is finding myself, actually finding myself, the happy place that I can go to now. I know how to find peace better, because I know that my challenges have taken me to a point where I can actually throw away some of the bad and find a peace. So joy in my house is finding peace within myself. And that includes talking to my son so that we could both be
Well, I
at
hope
peace.
you find peace today. Oh, that was beautiful, Helen. Very well said.
Helen Woo, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on the
Thank
show.
you.
You just
I
brought
want you
me
to
up,
find
you know.
more information, Self-Aid. I want you to purchase the book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to her website. The
Thank
show
you.
is coming to a close. I want you to join us live every Sunday here at noon. Next week, we're going to have Lolita and Eric Heilman from Bridges Church. He is a ministry music leader.
And we're gonna do
You guys
praise
are
and
going to do
worship.
praise and worship
Yeah.
special. Ashley Trevino, she is the founder of Limitless Ministry, will be guest co-hosting, and we're going to have a great music session next week. I want you to join us live every Sunday here at
I
noon.
love you.
This is Joy in My House, ladies
Bye.
and gentlemen. Have a blessed
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
Everybody's trying to find a way to be happy. There's only one way, and that's for you to know Him. His Spirit's calling you now. He wants you to